Hello listeners and or watchers, welcome back or welcome to the Night Shift Volumes, where I read stories from Reddit that ask, what's the creepiest thing that's ever happened on the overnight shift? If you're ready, let's get to work. This first one, The Break Room Light by TomTom_38C2. He says Mara worked security at an office park that was empty by 7 p.m. By midnight, even the air felt abandoned. Every night, at around 2:40 a.m., the brake light on the third floor turned on. She checked the first night empty, coffee pot cold, chairs tucked in. Second night, same thing, light on, no one there. On the third night, she didn't check right away. She just kind of sat back and watched the camera feed instead. And at exactly around 2:40, the light flicked on. One of the chairs slowly rolled back from the table. Not shoved, not bumped, pulled. Mara rewound the footage. The time stamp flickered and skipped from 2:39 to 2:43. When she looked back at the live feed, the chair was neatly pushed in again. And the light was off. The next night, at 2:39, her radio crackled, and a voice whispered, "Coffee's ready." They didn't have a coffee machine on the third floor. Second one comes to us from at username haha, the empty line. Devin worked third shift at a small-town gas station off the highway. After midnight, business died. It was just him usually, the buzzing soda cooler, and the lottery machine that never stopped blinking. At 3:12 a.m., the phone rang. No caller ID, just line 2. He picked up. Static. Then the sound of breathing. "Hello?" Static again. Then a woman's voice, barely audible. "I'm still here." The line went dead. He checked the cameras. Parking lot empty, no cars on the road. The next night at 3:12, the phone rang again. This time before he could say anything, the voice spoke. "You didn't lock the freezer." Devin turned slowly. The freezer door at the back of the store stood wide open. Cold air spilled across the floor like fog. On the camera monitor, he could see himself standing there. But behind him, in the reflection of the glass freezer door, someone else stood too. Number 3. Room 317, submitted by @YSoSerious, and Sirius is spelled different. Night auditors at roadside motels learn not to ask questions. Teresa worked alone, and after 11 p.m., the motel was old. The carpet smelled faintly of mildew and cigarette smoke from decades. Room 317 was always listed as out of order. But every night at 2:17 a.m., the phone on the front desk lit up. Caller ID 317. She answered the first time, silence. The second time, soft knocking. Not on the desk, not on the phone. On the third night, she didn't answer. Instead, she checked the system, right? Room 317 had no key issued and no guest had checked in. But when she pulled up the security camera for the third floor hallway, room 317's door was open. Hallway was empty, except for a shadow that didn't quite belong to anything. Next morning, housekeeping reported something strange. That the bed in 317 had been slept in and the sheets were still warm. Number 4, The Factory Whistle by @everything_spooky22. Luis worked maintenance in a paper mill that shut down most operations after midnight, and only a skeleton crew stayed. At 4:03 a.m., the old factory whistle blew. long, low echoing. But that particular whistle had been disconnected in 1987. So he radioed the supervisor. Did you hear that? Static. And then, heard what? The whistle blew again. This time closer. Not from the roof, from inside the building. So Luis followed the sound down a dim corridor that hadn't been used in years. Dust coated everything. The air felt thick. And at the end of the hall was an old metal door with a faded sign that said, Shift Changed, 1919. The whistle shrieked directly behind it. Luis reached for the handle. From the other side, someone knocked twice. Then a voice, tired and hoarse. You're late. He stumbled back into the main factory floor. The clock read 4:03 a.m., exactly where it had been when the whistle first blew. And the dust on his boots was gone. As always, I thank you for listening and or watching, and I hope you have a great night at work.